What's up, everybody? JD here, also known as JD Liger, and today is going to be the start of my Darkest Dungeon playthrough. I'm gonna be uploading this at a semi-constant rate, probably an episode a day or something like that. So, with Darkest Dungeon, it's a RPG turn-based horror game with a lot of different elements to it. This game, I really enjoy playing it. I've been playing it a lot, as you can see. I've got a lot of different saves, a few of them modded, a few not. Today we're just gonna do a fresh save. Let's see, which campaign are we gonna do? We're gonna do a Darkest campaign. I don't wanna be hampered by the need to beat the game in a certain amount of weeks, but I don't also want it to be super duper easy. Well, not super easy, but slightly less difficult. So we're just gonna go with this. We're gonna call this save Lions of Sadness. How about that? That's a good name. So here on the right you see two general marks. You got an X that deletes the save, not deleting the save. This is a mods. Um, I'll possibly do another playthrough that goes to the Pitch Black Dungeon mod. That adds a lot to the game, rebalances it, adds some new stuff. But this is just gonna be vanilla Darkest Dungeon. I decided to do this playthrough because there's an expansion coming out in a few weeks called the Crimson Court, which adds a new character and new enemies in a new area. But let's get right into it.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
And with that, we are now beginning our journey into our home, or our esteemed uncle's home that he has given to us. So the old road, as you've seen, we were on the way there. Our carriage got destroyed. The man who was supposed to be driving the carriage has suddenly disappeared, and now we have to make our way on foot. Just gonna wait for this to finish loading. Takes a little bit sometimes. So Darkest Dungeon is a game that has a lot of crazy mechanics to it. One of the major mechanics, light, map navigation, gonna get over that. But like I was saying, one of the major mechanics is the light. As you can see right now, because it's 100%, we have plus the scouting and plus the monster surprise. But as you move through the areas, that goes down. Movement's pretty simple, as you just saw. Click on a room, and here we go.
Hamlet is just ahead.
You press A and D to move forward. You can mouse click, but I don't use mouse click to move. This area is pretty simple. Another mechanic, stress. Your characters will gain stress while walking through dungeons, fighting enemies. Once it hits 100, they have their resolve tested. They can gain a negative or positive resolve based off of it. Sometimes the negatives will cause them to harm themselves or those around them. Sometimes they will not take their action. We're gonna get right into a combat here.
Fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
You can see combat, turn base, click a hero, skill icon, or you can press the corresponding number 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 to reorganize. And that's another major mechanic. Some skills can only be used in particular spots. So for instance, I can use Open Vein and grape shot because I'm in the number 2 spot, but I cannot use pistol or tracking because I'm not in the 3 or 4 spots. So we're gonna go with an open vein, cause bleed, hopefully. And as you see, he bleeds. He also got a debuff. Alright, he missed. Let's see. So the Crusader, he has Smite, Zealous Accusation, Stunning Blow, Bulwark of Faith. Bulwark gives himself a mark which makes enemies more prone to attack him, but gives him better protection. Stunning Blow, as in the name it stuns, has an accuracy mod of 90, so it most likely will hit, but the stun may not hit all the time. Zealous Accusation, accuracy mod of 85, damage mod minus 40, and Smite. We're gonna go with a Smite.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
So we get 25 gold. Some fights you will get items after killing them, some fights you might not. And here we found our first curios. These are interactive areas in the world that are along the paths most likely, and in some rooms. You can get positive things out and get negatives. For this instance, since this is kind of like a tutorial area, you'll get something good out of this. So we're gonna press W. We get some jade and some more money.
There is much to be found in forgotten places.
And every once in a while, since you never know when the narrator is gonna talk, so I might talk over him for instance. That's not really something I can control.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
Alright, so for instance, now you can see I can use the pistol shot. That's because I have an enemy that's technically in the 3rd spot. These kind of enemies, they take up 2 spots. You will never have an ally who takes up 2 spots. You will always have an ally that takes up 1 spot. But you will come across enemies that can take up 2 spots. So in this instance, I can use pistol shot. But I'm going to try... no, let's pistol shot the guy in the back. I want to get rid of him because he does spread attack. I'm not really worried about him, so I'm going to stun him for the first round, hopefully. He resisted it. So his point blank shot pushes as well. So now I cannot use pistol shot again because I've been swapped. So we're going to call it bleed. I could swap him back, but that would take... I'd rather not take another action to hit. I'm going to try and stun again. Alright, now that he's stunned, I will take that action on his turn to swap him. Yeah, we're gonna swap him back so I can kill this guy off. Hopefully. Now, although this is a tutorial area, I can still lose one of these guys, so I'm gonna try not to. It's looking like I won't as of right now. Let's pistol shot. Didn't kill you. Got 2 health left. And every once in a while, guys will say something to that extent after taking damage. Rain of Whips. It's causing bleed on everybody. As you see, they've gained more stress. He's gonna blanket fire. Gives a debuff. Much more annoying debuff than usual. Of course you miss. Now they just don't want me to hit. They want me to bleed. He's really trying to kill my guys off with this bleed. But he's dead now.
Alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
So corpses. When most monsters die, they leave corpses. You can destroy corpses. A lot of the characters that you will gain might have a skill that clears out corpses. In the Pitch Black mod, corpses actually have a chance of reviving. So it adds another layer of difficulty. So here, you see we get a lot of different things. Deeds, Crest, Bust, and there's one other item there used to upgrade your mana, and I'll explain that once we get there. So I'm going to take everything. So now we've completed our first quest. I can leave, but there's this chest, but because I know what's in this chest, I'm not actually going to open it. It's no point. So I'm just going to leave this quest. So I got 4 crests and I got 2 deeds. That helps out a lot. So things that you keep, if you bring in food and whatnot, if you do not eat the food at the end of a quest, you will sell that back for a small amount. So I got 5,000 because I beat this quest. Got another 1,100 because of the items that I gained. After every dungeon or quest, your characters will gain resolve, and even if they fail, they sometimes can gain resolve. They will level up off of that resolve. It takes a few missions later as you get further and further. They also have a chance to gain a new ability. In this instance, he gained a negative, so he gains plus 20% stress in the wield. So pretty much I never want to really take him to that area.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Alright, so now we are at the hamlet, the Lines of Sadness estate. So there are many goals. The primary goals for right now, we want to complete our first foray into the ruins, which I'll do in a second. I want to defeat the Necromancer, Prophet, Necromancer again, Prophet, and each of these are a stronger version of the boss. So this is the base level version of the boss. Then you have a higher level, veteran level, and then each and every boss has a higher level version, and it all culminates into us going into the darkest of dungeons. So for now, we want to get each of these guys. We want to go through. Each dungeon or each quest takes a week. So as you see, it's week 1. We can press H. Gonna leave that on for now.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses, all will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
So now, like he said, now that we've cleared the way here, we can now recruit more heroes to join us on our journey. For now, you always start off getting these 2
What better
heroes.
laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield?
And you get those 2 heroes generally straight away. So after every quest, even if you fail it, you will gain new heroes that will show up that you can hire. So in this instance, I'm actually going to spend some of my quests, some of my stuff to increase it to 3. And I'm going to hold on to the rest.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
This is the graveyard. As you can see, no one has died just yet.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
And then we have our ancestors' memoirs. So we have the House of Rune. This is the intro video that plays when you first load the game up. I might do an extra video at some point that just plays through it. It's like 3 or 4 minutes. Just explains his what he did and why the manor is in ruin. The old road, that's what you watched at the beginning of this video. Then you have each of these. These are linked to different areas. They will unlock as I go through them. As you defeat each of the bosses, you'll gain these as well. And you can watch those. I might do extra videos to watch those. And then this one comes once you have defeated the darkest dungeon. So for now, we can't really do much more. So we're gonna go on another quest as it's telling me to do. Let's see.
A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
So each episode I'm going to do of this series will most likely do a run in a dungeon. As you can see, I could go straight into the darkest dungeon right away. That is something that is possible. It is not recommended. I would never recommend doing that. It is a horrible idea. You get some nice items out of it, but it's a horrible idea if you're just starting the game. So we're gonna look at the characters, see where they're best placed. She's God-fearing, so in town she will only stress relief, and I'll explain that after this next dungeon. That's when I'll explain that stuff. So we've got the usual suspects. In some setups that you will go into dungeons with will have these kind of titles to them. They don't really give a bonus, from my understanding. He's God-fearing, so he will only pray He's also a kleptomaniac, so he will steal items occasionally. Dismas, known cheat, so I can't let him go to gamble. I can get rid of these. Like, you can get rid of quirks. Sometimes it's best to lock in quirks, especially like for characters that you are going to be sending into the darkest dungeon. You might want to lock in a certain set of quirks that will help out, and I will. As we get that far, we'll start live. We'll start looking at who we're gonna lock stuff in on. But let's go to provisions.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
So as it says, like it's saying, you want to take different things. For ruins, I would suggest definitely taking holy water and anti-venom. Those will be big things, and you always start with one for the area you're going into. Since this is a short apprentice level, I'm gonna take about 10 food. And let's take 12. We'll take 12 food. We'll take 2 shovels just in case. Take 10 torches. I'll take 1 more anti-venom, 1 more holy water. I'll take a key. And we'll take 2 bandages. The reason I'm gonna take 4 bandages. Reason I'm taking extra bandages because a lot of the enemies in ruins have abilities that cause you to bleed, and so you really don't want to bleed that. Like, you want to keep these guys alive. Vestals, they are healer classes. They have abilities. They have a group heal, which is divine comfort, and then they have divine grace, which heals a single target. They also have a skill called Hand of Light and Illumination. Both of these are very good against undead targets. One will gain torch +5. They also have self heal, does damage, then heals themselves for 3, and as you upgrade it, it heals for more. And then they have a melee ability. I usually run them just for their heal. Then you have the Plague Doctor. They have abilities that buff allies, so this buffs allies for 25% damage with +3 speed. Battlefield Medicine, I would actually have liked if she had this instead of blinding gas at level 1. This really helps because you could bring this in for Blight Bleed, and instead of me bringing extra bandages, I could have her do that during battle. Disorienting Blast, this is one of those abilities that you really want to bring into missions, just because of its main thing, clear all corpses. Like, this is something you want to have in every party that you take into a dungeon. You want to have somebody who has the ability to clear corpses. Corpses will block up spaces, making it so your guys cannot hit things sometimes. She's also got Noxious Blast. This is good in dungeons that have undead because it causes blight, which is the equivalent of poison. And so when going into the ruins, I usually want to bring somebody with poison. Dismas, he's a highwayman. He is more of a he can cause a lot of different damage. He's got Duelist Advance. This moves him forward in the line while also doing damage. Open Vein, as you already saw, causes bleed. It's not great against undead because they have 100% bleed resistance. Grape Shot, this is a group damage. Does damage to enemies in the 1 through 3 slots. Point Blank Shot, pretty much the same as what that enemy had, the brigand had. Pretty much if he's in the front, bam, he hits him, they get pushed back. Pistol Shot does damage to the back 3 slots. And then we have Wicked Slice, does damage to the first 2, but he can use it from any of these 3 areas. And as you can see, we have preferred positions, preferred targets. So his preferred target right now is these 2 enemies. With Renaud, he's a Crusader. Pretty much he's kind of our frontline heavy damage dealer. His major thing, he's got stun, he's got an ability that makes him the target. He's got a heal as well. He's got Holy Lance, this moves him forward while he lunges and does damage to the back slots. Inspiring Cry, he heals himself, relieves stress, but he also ups the torch. And you might want to bring him as kind of like a single target kind of guy. That's pretty much his primary thing. He's a single target. Zealous Accusation does do damage to the enemies in 1 and 2, but you're generally single targeting with Crusaders, in my opinion. Camping skills, I'll go over those once we go on a mission that revolves around camping. So, that's our setup. Let's get into this dungeon. Your first expedition into the ruins of your ancestry. Be curious, be careful. And pretty much I just showed you this. You can right click on your heroes and it shows their quirks, skills, resistances. So as you can see, Renaud, he's got some cool resistance. 20% trap. That's another thing. You'll run across traps. Want to have a character that has heavy trap disarm. Let's see. How big is this dungeon? Alright, so I have to explore 90% of the rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're gonna go this path. I'm just gonna skip over this. Now, unless I get a scout and that room has something, then I will most likely skip it. But now let's go this way. Let's switch over to you, Renaud. Right away, we can get a torch. I could snuff this out, show you a fight against an enemy that's extremely brutal. I'm not going to. So right away we get into our first room combat. So these are bones. They have, as you see, 200% bleed resistance, but they have low stun and blight resist, low move resist, low debuff resist. So we're gonna do, actually we're gonna do a grab shot last. Get group damage on them. We're gonna do a stun. She missed, of course, but he's gonna do zealous,
Their
which kills.
formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
One of my favorite things about this game is the narrator. Whenever you do stuff like that, he'll just come in and say something. So usually, depending on the item, sometimes you'll come across things that require items to be used with them. But this one is unlock strongbox, so you can open it. Hopefully nothing bad happens, as you've seen.
Fortune, waiting to be spent.
Alright, so we get a shovel, get some citrine, which is 250 gold apiece. We get a health stone. Health stones are items that can be slotted on the characters. I'm going to give this to Renaud. Gives him 10% more health. So as you see, he gains 4 health. He loses speed, which now makes it so he's a lot slower. So everyone else will go before Renaud. We're gonna go here. I'm not gonna raise light level just yet. So
Even the
this
cold
shovel.
stone seems bent on preventing passage.
So now we've gotten to another combat. We've got 52% light, so I'm not worried about it. So let's go over the enemies. We have another bone soldier. He has a higher stun resistance and higher move resistance, but he still has that 200% bleed resist. But this is the real enemy right here. This is who I really want to take out. The reason I want to take her out, she has abilities that cause her to cause large amounts of stress damage. And stress damage is something you don't want on your characters, because that means you're gonna have to have them sit out of quests when you get back. So I'm gonna take her out. We're gonna try and stun her. Alright, so she's stunned. So I don't have to worry about her stress damage this turn. Then we're gonna grape shot blast. And as you saw, she just got unstunned because it was her turn again. We're gonna try and so after they've been stunned, they gain an additional stun resistance. So it's not smart for me to try and stun her again. So this time I'm gonna stun him, hopefully. Alright. Get some light back. Dismas is gonna do, not Dismas, Renaud's gonna do zealous accusation.
Another one falls.
Then let's see. Let's go pistol shot. How much health? She's got 4 health, 4 points per round. This should kill her, but she didn't get poisoned. And this is her stressful inquisition. Okay, he dodged it. That's good. We're gonna actually heal Renaud. Then we're gonna do another zealous accusation.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Now we've killed. So another
Success so clearly in view.
Damn it, Uncle. So,
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
so he talks a lot, but it's really nice. So as you just saw, crits can cause your characters to relieve stress. So sometimes you really want your characters to get crits, but of course that's a random thing. You really hope that your character will get a crit, because then hopefully the stress will get relieved really well. And now this is the point where you might want to start raising torches. So as you can see, now the torch is below 50. Everyone will gain more stress, so their stress gain, instead of say getting 6 stress gain, they might get 12. Monsters' accuracy and damage gets an increase. The heroes can be surprised. What surprise does, it rotates my heroes around. So Reynald could end up back here and he won't be able to do much, with my Vestal, Booty, ending up in the front, and then she's kind of useless. But the positives of this, we get higher loot and we get better crit chances. I'm actually going to raise this to 70. I like to try and keep it above 70 most times. We're going to switch to Dismas for this. Now the reason I switched to Dismas, I don't want Reynald stealing things out of it. That's just not something I want. I'm actually going to raise it a little more. Reynald has sticky fingers, and he's a dick. So as you just saw, we surprised him. So that means all of our guys get to go first. We're gonna go for the Bone Arbalist first. He's just a nuisance. He does a lot of damage, and it's not good for him to do that much damage to my characters this early. Let's see, we're gonna blight him as well, hopefully. Nice, so he's gonna be taking extra damage. Zealous Accusation there. Try and stun him out as well. Nice. And he takes a lot of extra damage, so now I officially am not worried about him because he will die on the next turn. Took 4, or took 5 there. Took 4 on her. Let's see. We're gonna give him a buff since he's really slow. We're gonna go Divine Comfort. Everyone gets healed by 1.
A death by inches.
How much we got? 5, 3. We're gonna go for 1.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Alright, so 6 there.
Be gone, fiend.
So Onyx.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Alright, so we've got a good amount of money now. So now my spots are pretty much filled up. I'm gonna use that last torch.
Lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
The reason I used her, she's religious. Most religious, I think this works best if you use somebody who is a religious-based character, and a lot of characters are either religious or non-religious, and that also plays into parties that you can send it to the dungeons together and whatnot. There's a trap. Of course, every once in a while you will not notice traps. She got hit by the trap.
Singular purpose.
I'm actually gonna have her eat a little bit so she can get her health back, just in case we run into something in this room. You can hit that right before you go in. Nothing. So we got a scalp. Alright, so we got 2 treasure rooms. Now, I only need to hit 90% of the rooms, which means this room and then this room will be the last rooms and I can leave. But because this is also a treasure room, I'm actually gonna go to every room in this dungeon. So we're gonna switch over to Dismas. Thank you, game. Gonna disarm this trap holster. Nice. We're gonna move forward. Now, as you can see, there's nothing along this path, like a fight or anything, so I'll be fine. I think I'll be fine. I'm hoping this isn't anything annoying. Alright, this is not annoying, but it's a tough fight. These guys can bleed. These guys can cause bleed with one ability. So as you can see, I now know what skills the characters have. Can't right click them to get more info, but I know what skills they have after I've fought them. Graveyard Slash, she's got Stressful Incantation. Because I hadn't fought him yet, I don't know what he has, but I know his abilities already. He's got a Rending Claw, which causes bleed. He's got a Lunging Strike, which forces him forward. So if he was right here, he'd move forward while hitting one or two of my characters. We're gonna go with pistol shot on her. Like, I really want to get rid of her because of that stressful incantation. So run for the old gods, as you see. He calls bleed, and this is one of those moments where I will switch over to the item tab. Okay, and there's the push. Yep, she's got that. Eldritch push moves my guys back, as I was telling you about. Let's heal up Renaud. Let's see. I know he's bleeding, so I switched over to this tab, and I can stop the bleeding. So like I was saying, if he gets into his position, he can't use any abilities, so I'm now forced to use that. We're gonna give him emboldening. Let's cause him to bleed. He didn't bleed.
Slowly.
She died though, so it works.
This is how a life is taken.
He resisted the bleed, he resisted the debuff.
Such a
That's a heavy
terrible
crit.
assault cannot be left unanswered.
And that's one of the major things. If they crit us, we'll gain stress. So we're gonna heal him. She got a crit heal. Relieves his stress. I'm gonna Zealous Accusation. He resisted everything. I'm gonna heal Dismas again. I'm gonna kill him because he hadn't taken his turn yet. She's gonna do this. That kills him.
Destroy.
And we got a lot out of this. So we got some busts. We got some crests. Let's heal you up by eating a few things. I'm gonna swap out places around. I'm gonna have you do this. I'm gonna use the key because that unlocks the hidden compartment, and we get more food and more money. So this is actually this is a really good run. We got another trap. Suddenly a trap has reappeared. Makes no sense. Sometimes that happens when you go back along a path. Things will be different, or may be different. Gonna go into this room. Got a backpack. Gonna switch to Dismas again. Got some food.
Laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Torch that up. I could have brought a lot less torches. So this is a random thing that happens sometimes in dungeons. Your guys will say, we're hungry. If you feed them, as you can see, you gain health back. Don't feed them, they take a lot of stress damage. So I have a lot of extra food, so I'm gonna feed them. And see, I've now completed this, but I'm gonna continue going because I want to get the items in this room. So another thing that's big in this, occasionally there will be secret rooms, and the only way you can find those secret rooms is if you get a scout chance. If you get a scout along the path for that room. If you get the scout in the room, you'll come across that room, and then you can go in. So now we've got a lot of different enemies. We got bones. These guys are annoying because their ability called Tempting Goblet. They will throw blood or some type of liquid, most likely blood. And that blood will cause a large amount of stress damage. So I'm gonna shoot him, in hopes of killing him in the next turn. Does this hit too? Yes, this does. I'm gonna use that, trying to stun both of those out. Nice. Let's go for stun on him. Alright, so now we've got 3 stunned enemies. That's really good for me. Slash. So pretty much all of these guys had wasted turns, but now they get to start doing their stuff. So as you just saw, 19 stress damage from one Tempting Goblet. That's really annoying. I want him dead. Of course he dodges. Quarrel does 7, so that's a lot of damage. We're gonna start trying to damage both of them out. Like, that's the really good thing about the Plague Doctor. She has things that hit multiple enemies. So we're gonna Zealous Accusation again.
Give them no quarter.
I'm gonna heal up Dismas. And there's the Axe Blade. This is why I'm happy I healed Dismas. Let's see. He's dead. Good. No more stress damage to that level. We're gonna boost your speed and damage. I'm gonna shoot Arbalest. Arbalest won't die this turn, but he will die next turn. 4, we can handle that for now. I'm gonna heal up Vestal. Or not the Vestal, the Plague Doctor. Good, he dodged. Happy. Let's hit you. Now the big thing is, I really should have brought an extra key. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just forget to do it.
And power.
Alright, so I've now finished every room.
Push on to the task.
So the key would open up a compartment, as you saw earlier, which allows me to get more. But for now, I just get this, which works. I get everything. I got every piece that I needed. And so now we're gonna finish the quest. We got a lot of money. Like, this is a very successful run for us in this dungeon. We got Movestone. I don't have anybody with a move skill right now, so this isn't extremely great. I can sell it, but I would have to wait a little bit. Got a lot of heirlooms. We got 5,000. We got about 8,700. All my other guys leveled up. Let's see what quirk he got. Lygophobia, plus 20% stress if torch below 26. So Dismas is really taking hits. He's getting a lot of negative quirks, which is really bad. So now I'm gonna have to look at either spending money to get rid of those negative quirks or dismissing him. I don't think I'm gonna dismiss him just yet.
Can you feel it? The walls between the sane world and that unplumbed dimension of delirium are tenuously thin here.
And so now we have hit week 2 officially. We've unlocked the tavern, as you can see, and the abbey is now unlocked. Both of these places relieve stress. We've got Booty, who is now Vestal level 1. Rome, or Rome, she is also now an apprentice plague doctor. They were successful. It was a level 1 short. And so now we can go to the here.
Fresh kegs, cards, and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
So the major thing is, when you put people in, they're locked in this area for a week. So during that week, they won't be able to go with you on dungeons. She's not exactly bad right now. Let's see what we got as new heroes. Okay, so we got another Vestal.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
So we got a Vestal, we got a Leper, and we got a Jester. The Leper is also religious. He's curious. So whenever I come across curios that are books and whatnot, he will try and he'll be the one to open those or read them. Do we want to upgrade this? We can have 2 more people. We're gonna hold off on that. Let's go here.
The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The abbey calls to the faithful.
So we're gonna put her in, have her get rid of that stress. And that's gonna be it for episode number 1. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back shortly or soon with episode number 2, and thank you for watching. See you until next time. See you.